Mad, Sick, Reggaeville.
Reggaeville family, this is the Reggaeville Easter special, and with us this year is the wonderful Nattali Rize. Welcome to Munich, Germany. Welcome to the Reggaeville Easter special. Happy Easter, of course. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much. It's so cool to be here again and to be here with the Reggaeville family.
Yeah.
It's wicked.
Very happy to have you here. Of course, we're looking forward to tonight, to the live music, but we must speak of one thing. You just recently released Rebel Frequency, the album. Congrats on that. How was the moment for you when you were able and you knew, okay, now I'm handing over this project that I've been working on for so long to the people, actually?
It was epic, and I really didn't expect it to be so... I don't know, like nervous for me, but because I mean it was done and ready for a good while before the actual release date, so it goes. But then the night before, when I was in Kingston and I was jet lagged and I was just starting to get excited, and then I fell asleep, and then I woke up at like 11 a.m. and I was like, oh my gosh,
It's today.
it's today, and I've got my phone's got like 60,000 messages, and I've got all this social networking to do and to get the message out, and I was just like, yo, it was a real buzz, because I guess, you know, as much as we already know that the music is there and it's gonna get out, there is something that I don't really think about it until it happened, but just there's a real energy knowing that the songs and the intention of the songs and the messages in the songs and all of that is reaching people. And that's really what it's all about.
Yeah. And speaking of reaching people, the album is called Rebel Frequency. The project before was called New Era Frequency. And knowing you, I'm pretty sure it's no coincidence. So what's it with this physical phenomenon of the frequency?
Yeah, well, I guess it just at this point in especially my personal evolution as a human and a musician, you know, we start to tune into frequencies and the vibration and how everything in this world breaks down to a wavelength, you know, every atom, piece of matter. So we realize that we are made up of these things, but we also realize that in order to reach higher states of consciousness, we need to vibrate higher at higher frequencies. And now when we say rebel frequency, it refers to the fact that under current world systems, anything that speaks out or outside of the very narrow paradigm of thought that exists for people to live, love, and grow in, when we start hearing and thinking and feeling ideas that are on the outside of that, it's a rebel. It's rebellious for this system. Even growing your own food free of genetic modified seeds, you know, the system doesn't love that. And, you know, it's a corporate system. So corporations can't make money off you being free and free from mental slavery and building and being self-sustainable and sovereign and sufficient. So these things are considered rebellious. And in this time, to be rebellious is a positive thing. So,
Most definitely, and a very necessary thing as well. Yes, I would like to speak about the rebel spirit a bit more. Looking at listening the lyrics, also being able to read the lyrics because they're in the booklet. I can see that you're very observant of what's going on in the world. You're analyzing a lot. I figure you talk to a lot of people from very different backgrounds. What happenings in the world right at this point have influenced you the most, would you say, for these songs, the music and the lyrics?
Well, for me, it's twofold. It's what's happening in the world and also what's happening in my inner world as well, you know, because I really, you know, for a time there, I was very tuned into all the political nonsense that happens around the planet. And it got to a point where I'm just like, are we really still, like, I couldn't hear it anymore because it just sounded just like, well, if I'm listening to this, it's surely making me dumber. You know what I mean? It's like we have so much more mental ability and so much more better things to do with our time, the most valuable thing we have on this planet, our time, our energy, than to be giving it to this system that is just full of you know what. And so for me, I started to go, all right, where does the next evolution of humanity gonna go from this? And so I started to look inside myself, because that's to me, and on the album we say it, you know, the real revolution is the evolution of our consciousness and our minds. And it really is an inner revolution first, because it has to be before it can project into the outer world. And it really is a case for me where when you're in touch with yourself, you're able to, and you love yourself and you know yourself, you're able to then know and love others unconditionally as well. And just by living and believing that, we are co-creating a new reality and a new world, because we refuse to believe in that version of life. And we say, you know what, instead of putting our energy into trying to fix these outdated systems, we can put our energy into creating new ones that actually serve us. So every conversation, every word, every greeting is an opportunity to speak this new reality into existence. So with music, it's the same. Every lyric, every beat, every strum are all potent and powerful arrows in shooting down Babylon's system, you know. but not just that, building new ones. Yeah.
So, but the motivation that you're speaking out, then, is it's about change within the persons, within your listeners, within the people. It's not so much, would you say, about people power going out there protesting against what is outside of people, or would you say both is necessary, both should be done?
I think that there are times where I think most definitely for the most part for me, and on the album it's talking about really connecting to self and going in, because once that is achieved, there will come a time we don't need to go on the streets, you know, we just won't need to, because we just refuse to give our energy to something, and nothing can exist or continue to exist if you stop giving it energy. If you stop giving it your thought, giving it your energy, you start giving those things to something else, that's what's going to start manifesting. And in real time that happens. So while it is important in these times to feel the unity of people and people power, and I know people need that because we're all at different levels in our evolution. And you know, I always found that there have been so many protests. I used to, you know, speak at a lot of them in Australia, and you know, and I will again too, you know, because I know that, well, I just follow my intuition, and for the time that I've had away from being really present on top of everything political, as I do watch what's happening, but you know, not giving it so much of my energy, I'm starting to feel like I'm ready for a round two, and I'm, you know, like it's gonna be serious.
Okay. So what can I imagine tomorrow? You could go on the streets and you could march with people. What would it be you're marching or you're protesting for?
Yeah, well, tomorrow, if I was marching tomorrow, I guess, well, you tell me what's most happening here in the streets in Hamburg or in Munich, and what are people? I mean, I know that there is a big, what I feel from being here is this movement of people starting to accept more refugees. And
most definitely.
yeah, and I feel that's happening not just here, it's also happening in Australia and in America. And I'm saying that against the mainstream push of telling us to reject refugees. Yeah, exactly. So what I'm feeling everywhere we go in Europe is the people just wanting to know, they want to give love and be accepting. And this has been the case on a massive scale in Australia as well. And so, yeah, I guess for me, if that was what this community and this environment and these people felt needed the energy at this time, which it does, then we'll support that, absolutely.
It's interesting that you're speaking of that, because one could always protest against something, but one could also go on the street for something, which would be then the positive energy. So nice.
Well, we do.
Great. Just apart from the lyrics of the album, also musically, I think it's very interesting because it is a reggae album, but it has a lot of rock influences. It has some industrial sounds, some dubbish vibes. What, apart from what inspires your lyrics, what has inspired the music? Carlo, that you've been working with for a long while, has produced a lot of the songs. Where do you guys draw inspiration from? What artists do you listen to?
Yeah, we draw inspiration from everywhere. I think this album has come together, a lot in Jamaica and in Australia, and we listen to a lot of music, you know, we listen to everything, and we come from a very eclectic musical upbringing in terms of world music and being percussionists. Like we listen to a lot of African music and Indian classical and everything, South American drum, Latin, cumbia, Cuban music, jazz. We kind of come from those, as well as like the rock and artists like Santana and Led Zeppelin, and yeah, we love all that. So inevitably, for sure, it finds its way into our expression. Yeah, and at the same time, we're searching, for new sounds. So yeah, I think Rebel Frequency, the song, is a really good example of that. We're reaching for some new sounds, and it's a direction that we like, and love. At the same time, One People is a really special song as well, and it's just acoustic guitar, and it's actually Monty who plays with Protege, who is the guitarist on that track. Me and him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. So I hope this was interesting enough for you guys out there, that just in case you have not listened to Rebel Frequency as yet, then you get it now. Food for thought, and of course for the soul. Nattali, thank you so much for the album. All the best for it, and thanks for coming here tonight. We're looking forward to the performance. All the best.
It's gonna be fire. Love.